What up, everyone? I got a fair few people asking me lately about this Reedin Snackpack, and I figured instead of just replying to everyone separately, why not just make a video about it so you can all see what I think. If you like this idea and you like this style of video, maybe hit me up in the comments or hit me up on Insta or whatever and give me some ideas of other products you might want to see. So straight off the rip, I actually saw this one myself on Instagram. I saw them advertising the Snackpack. What can I say? First up, I think it's just good to see something different. I'm so sick of seeing the same copy-paste 138, 140, 142, rectangle twin tip, boring, no rocker, square outline, wet noodle flex, big fins. I'm sick of it. Like, I don't know how brands are making 5, 6, 7 models of this same garbage every year and then just keep recycling it with new graphics. So straight up, I'm just excited to see that someone like Reedin, and man, any brand out there that wants to do this, I'd be excited just to see something different. I think people deserve to ride new, fresh things, have new experiences. No matter if this is a board that I'd like or not, I'm sure anyone that jumps on a board like this is just going to have fun because they're riding something different. They're not riding that same copy-paste, boring rectangle twin tip that you can get from everyone on the market. So hats off to Reedin in that case. I think it's great. I love to see it. I'm going to dive straight into the site, and I'm recording my screen so you guys can also see what I'm looking at. And I'm going to jump on the Reedin site first. I haven't really checked this out on their site, so you're seeing what I see. The Snackpack. The days of choosing between a surfboard and a twin tip are over. Snackpack is a volume board that crosses the boundaries between traditional directionals and twin tips. First up, I guess, Snackpack is a pretty interesting name, isn't it? I feel like that might have been better suited to Kevin's freestyle board. What?
Perfect.
No, it was a bit of a low blow, but yeah, Snackpack. I don't know. It's not the worst name, I guess. Sizes 142, 146, 150. I mean, they're hitting some bigger sizes at least. I guess you need something smaller there just in case people aren't really vibing riding a bigger board, because most people are so scared to ride a bigger board. But with the shape of this outline, I could imagine this board feels really small per the length. So I can imagine a 150 feeling like a 142 regular square twin tip. I need to check what the dims are because I don't really know what the dimensions are, but that's my first thoughts. I feel like 150 should probably be the minimum size that you'd even think about getting in this, unless you just want to boost big air on a different board with volume for some reason. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but hey, I guess you can do that. You can do anything you want, so buy what you like. What else have they got here in the pictures? What do? You get a little fin bag, all right, cool. You get 6 twin tip fins. Are they G10? Is that what they're saying? It's kind of upside down there. Cord out G10. Well, I don't know. To me, sort of just looks like they gave you the twin tip fins that they normally make with the board. I'm not sure because I haven't looked at the other boards, but that's just sort of what it looks like. Pretty stock Tarifa Finco looking twin tip fin. Don't know if that's the right choice, but I can understand why they would do it. Costs more to make a new fin, doesn't it? What's the bottom look like? Got like a tip channel and a big heel channel. Pretty stock kind of channel setup for any freestyle-y, even kind of park board, I guess, has a pretty similar channel layout to that. Pretty stock. All right. Oh, we can see here a bit more what the channels look deep, I want to say. And it also has like a flip tip. Most of us have only been using half of what the ocean has to offer. We either ride waves coming in or jump kickers going out, but rarely both in one session. Not anymore. Well, I don't really know that it's usually good in one session to do both for anywhere I ever ride, but fair call. Snackpack is a volume board that crosses the boundaries. Oh, we've read this. It creates drive through your bottom turns and lets you smack the lip. On the way out, you can hold down power, edge hard, and send it off a kicker like a regular twin tip can. Feel like pulling a kite loop? The stability on high-speed landings will surprise you. Oh, and it flies over chop like no other twin tip. Oh, so what's the downside? Get ready to be exhausted after your first session because you're riding twice as much in half the time. I don't... It's hard for me not to just kind of call out things that I hear, but it just doesn't sound possible what they're saying, because I feel like if you're going out and you're going to do big jumps and big loops, you're going to end up downwind and you're going to want to ride upwind on the way back in. You're not going to ride waves then also downwind and further end up really far downwind. Like, I don't think you get something for nothing in this case. Like, you're either riding waves on the way in and going upwind on the way out, or you're jumping on the way out and going upwind on the way in. If you're going downwind on the way out and on the way in, when are you going upwind? So, I don't know. I understand the versatility aspect of what they're saying here, that you can ride waves and you can do a kite loop. That does make sense to me, but saying that you can just do both in one session and you're going to be one up because you're doing twice as much stuff and you'll be tired, I don't know about that. I think that's hype. Snackpack is a passion project for me. It absolutely changed my whole approach to kite surfing. I feel like I was missing out all these years. Snackpack lets you combine the two best things in kiting, jumping high and riding waves. Damien, where you been, bro? You can do that on every single board. If you're missing out on that, I don't know what to say. Let's see, what do we got here? 3 twin tippy fins. Pretty big channels. I mean, this is all personal, right? You need to tune this thing for the level of grip and drag that you want. Personally, I think tri-fin is BS. I wouldn't cop that. That's just drag for the sake of drag. Middle fin, get rid of that. That's, I think, unnecessary, especially if you've got these big channels. You're going to have way enough grip without a third fin dragging through the water. The flip tippy thing is, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I never really liked those on old boards, and I just also think they look really odd and they're kind of slow. But I mean, I guess they're going for that old school kind of look and feel and even graphics, I guess, with this kind of rainbow thing that's pretty old school looking too. So I get the tri-fin thing. I guess boards back in the day, Mutants and Twin Tips sort of were doing that for a while. I remember when Slingshot used to have let's see if I can pull up a picture, but they had boards that had, I can't even remember, but I want to say 7 fins or 8 fins on them. More maybe, because I think they had 2, and then they had in front 2. I think they had 8. No, I think they had boards with 9 fins. I want to say that. Slingshot, that is. Okay, key points. Ride waves and send big. Its unique shape allows both wave riding and twin tipping on one board. Yep, easy handling. Going over chop, bigger waves, and riding upwind even easier. Well, if you've got a bigger board, that's probably true. Carbon construction. Full carbon. I'm not really a fan of full carbon for waves in general for anything, twin tips or surfboards or whatever, but I haven't ridden it, so I'm not going to comment on that. At home on every wave. Every turn, feel good and put an instant smile on your face. Oh, well, I don't know about that. Load the edge. You can load the edge and keep grip. Prepare for a big sendy jumps. No need to switch boards, right? The entire ocean becomes a skate park and you'll be soon seeing lines and possible combos everywhere. This is snack packing. Aha, so now we get some insight into the name. That's what the snack pack's all about. Take a little snack on everything. All right, fair enough. Triple fin setup, extremely good drive in turns on proper waves. Step tail provides clean water release in the back of the board while the nose saves you from spray. I feel like you can achieve that with rocker normally. I don't think it's needed. I don't know. And also like these channels just sort of ending like they're ending and then it just looks weird. I don't know. I feel like there's a reason people don't do these things anymore. We moved away from them. I think that's my most, if there's anything I really don't like about this board, it's that. It's those flip tips. Flip tips are done. I think that's a baked idea. Everything else is doable. Rail edge channels. Channels on the bottom provides unmatched grip, upwind performance angles, and precision bottom turns. Yeah, channels provide more grip. You could also just use bigger fins though and have less drag. Surf rails. I get why they do channels though. People think channels look good. Whenever I've done boards without channels, people think that they're cheap and they're not paying enough. So totally understand why they're putting channels on it, and deep ones at that, because people just look at that and think that's a sign of how much a board costs to make. Surf rails for that true surf feeling when carving for turns. They do look very round. I'll give them that. I wonder how thick they actually are. I wonder if we're going to get that stat soon. Light PVC core, designed for bindings. Ride waves on a board that only twin flipping feels right at home on. What? Designed for, they mean straps, or that's what bindings are these days? People call straps bindings. Oh God, there's too much here. I can't read all this about the snack pack. Is there anything that's worth me diving more into? Okay, the goal was pretty simple. Make a true kite surfing board that can be used for both jumping and riding waves, so you don't have to pick between one and the other and can have one board that does it all. I tell you about trying to do one thing that does everything is it's bad at everything. That's my experience. But if that's what you want and you do want to do a bit of jumping and you do want a bit of riding waves, this could be it. This could be your board. He says the shape came from riding his super wave at Hookeeper a few years ago and analysing how the board was reacting when going straight and how much speed and upwind I was actually capable of achieving. That night I went home and basically started designing a board using the back half of the super wave and mirroring it to make a twin tip. So it's two tails, even though it kind of looks like two noses to me with how the curve looks, but unfortunately, the CNC on Maui could not cut my blank, and the project came to a stall. Now this past winter, I'm sitting in Cape Town watching all these kiters ride. Okay, yeah, you want to do the snack pack thing again. I always hated having to choose before my session. Did you really, though? Probably have all the gear, Damien. Why would you struggle to choose? Do you ride the snack pack like any other board? It takes a few minutes to get used to how the snack pack rides. The rails in the center are full like on a surfboard. The grip comes from engaging the fins. The front side carve will feel just like a wave board, allowing you to properly lean on your front foot to dig the rail. The idea is that your back foot is closer to the fins for better control and power. The board does not flex much. Instead, the comfort comes from full rails that are floaty and will fly over chop instead of cutting through it. You will also find the board is a lot more comfortable either than a wave board or a twin tip, riding upwind impressively. It is also impressive thanks to the width of the board in the center that gives you a lot of surface to get grip from. I want to say that round rails, if you don't know, give you grip. So yeah, there's fins, but round rails are also really grippy. So I know a lot of people think a thin, sharp rail should be the most grippy. That's just simply not true. That's far, far, far from accurate. That's just not how hydrodynamics work. So, and if you ever questioning me on this or someone's questioning you on it, tell them to take their surfboard, take the fins out and go ride it and see what happens. And they'll quickly see what's the most grippy part of the board. Were you even kite surfing before? Well, this is really what I wondered after my first session with the first prototype. If it was like my after my first bottom turn, top turn combo, it was like my brain exploded. I could not believe what I was capable of doing with the board. The combos, jumps into wave riding and vice versa. The switching stance multiple times on the same wave. You've got to experience it. Believe it. I don't know about that. That's, come on, man. Features, okay. PVC carbon surf rails. Rails inspired from surfboards. Give me some specs. Grab rail, rail edge channels, step tail. Here we go, speckies. Width versus height, 142 by 46. Wow, it is actually really wide in the middle. 146 by 47, 150 by 48. It's a pretty wide board, I want to say. Okay, kind of changes my mind a little bit about what it is. Maybe the nose and tail need to be as curved as they are, or probably just feel like a huge door. But that's definitely pretty wide. 3.1 thick. It's not really that thick though. It's definitely not surfboard thick. That's like, what, a bit over an inch? I mean, I'm assuming they're not talking inches because 3 inches thick would be insane. So 3.1 centimeters thick. It's kind of thick, but not that thick really. If you think about some of the older boards that were made, which I'm going to get onto next, I think that's not really much different to what we've had before. The one thing that I think is standing out to me as being slightly different in this board more than anything else is just the width. The widths are pretty crazy. 150 by 48.3 is really wide in the middle of the board. I don't know how I feel about it, actually. I think I'd need to ride it to make a decision of if that's the right thing or not, but that sounds, to me, sounds kind of crazy. I guess if it's really curvy, like two noses, which is sort of more how it looks than two tails, maybe that's all right. Every wave is a kicker. All right, so I've looked at the Snackpack, and when people ask me about this board, a lot of what I thought just initially when I first saw the board on Instagram was it kind of just looks like old kiteboards that we already had, right? 1999, 2000, 2001. People were all kind of making things that were like a combination of two tails of a surfboard put together. And I even had people where I live that were surfers and they got into kiteboarding and they would make things like this out of surfboard blanks. They'd try and make these twin tips with thrusters and these mutants that look kind of similar to, that were wide and whatever. There was one guy, Stewie Martin, he might have even been Australian champion one year. He made his own kind of mutants that were like similar to this too, with 3 fins and thick and whatever, kind of rode it like a twin tip. But there was also the twin tips that I really do think look super, super similar to this. And I think one of the main guys that was doing that for a long, long time was Franz. And you can kind of see in this picture here, he's got the flip tip. Yeah, he's got a round tail versus what Reedin has is a squash tail, but he's got volume. He's got these two side fins. He could chuck a middle fin in there if you want. I feel like a lot of these boards did have an option for a middle fin back then. And like, yeah, look, this is kind of a similar thing. Look, Franz's is, that's got to be a centimetre thick, maybe more in the middle, tapered, flip tip, the backwards fin thingy that he always did. And there was lots of these boards. Like here's a Whippica one, 175. This one's massive. But there was lots of this kind of stuff. Actually, here's another Franz one, a Tacoon one. I had a hard time actually finding most of these boards. It's really difficult to find the boards I was talking about or thinking about. And I don't know if that's just Google or these things just disappear or what, but it was so hard. Like even this thing kind of reminds me of the Airflow, which I've talked about on a live stream as the most cooked board ever, but it's sort of similar, isn't it? If you put another fin on the Airflow and kind of put a squarish tip on it, it would be a similar thing. It's also got volume. The Airflow's got that volume as well. It's probably about the same thickness, 3.1 cm thick or whatever. Sorry, I was talking in the Franz one about an inch thick. And then I saw like other pictures, like, look, here's a perfect example. This is a guy on a 2002 or 2003 Cabrina, what was it called? Sync lock, shift lock, control lock, something like this bar. And look, he's got a twin tip that looks really similar to this Reedin Snackpack one. It's even got the square tips. It's definitely got volume. It's missing the grab rails and a few other things, but this is, you know, there was a lot of these things around. I know it seems crazy now because you just don't see it, but boards also weren't snowboard style construction back in the days, right? They were mostly, well, pretty much all of them, they were foam core, usually Divinycell, closed cell, and then glass and carbon and whatever over the top. So naturally, all the boards were thicker. All the wakeboards were thicker too. So this kind of thickness and style of Reedin board, this Snackpack, was kind of what everything was before. It was only really when I think it was Adrian Roper from Underground came along and took that snowboard technology into a kiteboard. I think he did it before wakeboarding even did it. He did those pressed wood core boards that the boards got thinner, more like a snowboard. And before that, yeah, they were all thick. They were all foam core. They rode kind of weird, a bit soft. They'd kind of get a bit soggy and stuff over time and maybe snap if they got waterlogged. But yeah, all boards sort of looked like this back in the day. I was trying to find, I really remembered one thing was the liquid force drop, and I was just searching and searching and searching, and I can't find it. And anyone who knows what I'm talking about is going to know about the liquid force drop. It was a really long running model. And all I could find was this liquid force proof, which was basically them just redoing the liquid force drop in a new thing. And that's kind of what I was thinking of when I looked at this Reedin Snackpack as well, this proof, the liquid force drop or proof. I really think it looked super similar as well to what's being made here with the Snackpack. A bit less curvy for sure. It's not as wide in the middle, but it has elements that are so similar. Like it has the grab rails, it has the thickness. It just looks so similar. And actually, when I thought about it more, I thought this board looks, the Snackpack looks even more similar to older wakeboards than, well, I mean, the drop did come from a wakeboard mold originally, I think, the liquid force drop, which was a kiteboard. I think it came from one of their wakeboard molds, but I was thinking old wakeboards really looked similar in so many regards. And then I found this CWB board, the spray, and I mean, there was so many boards that looked like this, Hyperlight ones, so many of them. Got the full length grab rails. Like, look, full length. It's got I mean, it's got a middle fin, but yeah, some of them also had 3 fins back in the day on a lot of these older wakeboards. What else has it got? Look how similar the bottom shape is. And I think this bottom shape's pretty similar to a lot of old boards as well. It's got those channels running through, got the heel channels. Super similar design. Obviously, I'm not saying that the Snackpack's just a direct copy of this board, but really hard for me to ignore how similar this kind of looks. Obviously, it's a lot curvier. If we look here, look, still back and forward. Fair bit curvier, bit wider midsection. That's about the most different thing about it to me, is this bit wider midsection. But besides that, it's practically a liquid force proof drop CWB, old school kind of wakeboard looking thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's about my thoughts on this board. This is what I thought when I first saw it, all the things that I could think of. I'd be interested to try it out, honestly. I don't want to pass judgment on any board until I've ridden it, because I know myself making boards that you can think one thing about a board and then you actually try it and it feels like a totally different way to what it looks. So I'd love to try it out. I think, honestly, if I tried it out, I'd probably ride it finless or with smaller fins. I don't think I'd vibe the big 3 fins. That's the one thing that I don't really gel with or vibe with in this whole promotion of this board, is like, ride a twin tip that's like a surfboard. Well, I don't really want to ride a twin tip that's like a surfboard. I'd just ride a surfboard. I think like mixing them together it's not right. It's not, you're just missing kind of the point of both of the boards then if you're mixing them together. If I want to ride like a longer kind of twin tip, I sort of want something that's flexy and pressy like a snowboard, so I can get even more creative. I don't think having no volumes limiting my bottom turns and top turns or how I can interact with a wave. And if I did think that, I think I'd just ride a surfboard. But that said, I've also thought about making boards that are thicker but still have flex. So I don't know really how possible that is or if I could do that, but I would love to try some of the shapes that I have in a thicker construction for more volume, just to have less kite input when I'm landing airs or landing tricks back into a wave. Not so much for riding the wave, but just to be able to be carried by the wave when you like land back down the wave. I think, yeah, riding the wave on a twin tip, I'm never really that interested about, because honestly, being stuck in a centered twin tip stance for waves is like maybe one of the worst things I can think of. To actually ride like rail to rail and do real top turns and bust the fins out and stuff, like it just feels weird to me. I mean, I think you're just better off being on an actual twin tip then, and you'll throw way more spray and be way more radical, because you're still going to be using the power of the kite to ride this board. You're not going to be flowing down the line using the fins for lift and for speed and stuff like a surfboard does, because it's still not a surfboard. It's like 2 noses of a surfboard with fins on the back. So yeah, I don't want to say too much more. I don't want to be that negative on it either. I think, like, honestly, as an alternative idea, I think this is sick. I think if you want something like this, go out and get it. I think you needed to support boards like this and ideas like this, because if you don't support at least some of these kind of alternative boards and ideas, there's not going to be anything for you to ride. You're going to be stuck on these 138 and 142 rectangle bullshit pop-out boards for the rest of kite surfing eternity. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. If you like this one, give me some ideas for some more videos like this. See you later.